outside of the Yankees. Well, no, the Yankees and Giants for many years gave y'all a lot of, love. And what else? Who else would be a city? I know Boston, New York, L.A.
Not in basketball and football, though. I mean, not in basketball and baseball, though,
yeah,
right?
But yeah.
So, I mean, this is a huge year for you guys. I mean, Dodgers win the World Series. Lakers win the NBA championship. I don't think I've ever seen a city with basketball and baseball, right? That would mean the Yankees would have to do it when the Knicks do it. I wonder.
Chicago? Maybe Sox or something like that?
Mm-hmm. We need some fans out there to help us with this one. But I don't think cities have done it in baseball and basketball.
I'm saying, Red Sox and the Celtics.
But
you mean winning in the same year?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about winning in the same year. I'm just talking about over a period of time. Over several years. This has been a big drought for Los Angeles just in general when you start talking about the Dodgers and the Lakers. The Lakers went 10 years, the Dodgers since 1988. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were in diapers then, right, Z? I mean, it's one of those deals. But I think, tonight obviously is the closeout game, but it makes me a little scary because this is a bullpen game for us opposed to having one of the big aces on the mound. If we had one of the, somehow if we could have had Walker Buehler in this one, I'd be like, yeah, woo. But then we don't have that. We have a bullpen game. We're going to go get him in the inning in 2/3. Gosling's got to come sit with me about the second inning. For real, though. I don't be messing around with that, man.
Because these are the games, Zubin, I look forward to the text chain. I know you're not. Can we get you back on the text chain?
I think my life is better off without the text chain. I love you, fellas.
You have to see the roller coaster of emotion on a night like tonight with Key. Especially when it starts getting into like the bottom of the 6th, the 7th. Watching it, it's pretty entertaining.
Bottom of the 6th or the 7th, I'm probably at the bottom of the bottle.
We should mention we'll have much more on the World Series coming up in just a little bit. We'll hear from Dave Roberts at 6:45. Walker Buehler would start Game 7 if the Dodgers do have it tomorrow. Tony Gonsolin going tonight. So the Rams look good. On the other side,
don't believe the hype.
The Bears, not so much. Jay's phrase there might sum up Chicago really, really well. Let's get to the meat of the issue, a potential miscommunication between Nick Foles and his head coach, Matt Nagy. This was brought up by Brian Griese last night on the broadcast. Listen to Griese here when he talks about the challenges of Foles and Nagy trying to get on the same page play calling wise.
We were talking to Nick Foles yesterday, and he said, sometimes play calls come in, and I know that I don't have time to execute that play call. And, I'm the one out here getting hit. And sometimes the guy calling the plays, Matt Nagy, he doesn't know how much time there is back here. And so that's something that they have to get worked out.
As you might expect, that raised some tremendous eyebrows. Nagy was asked about it after the game, sort of tamped it down, said you got to talk to Nick about it. I don't really think that's the case with me and Foles. We have a great relationship. Foles, if he had a miscommunication with Matt Nagy, Foles also said, I must have had a miscommunication with Brian Griese. Listen to this.
That was definitely a miscommunication with Brian and I. We do these pregame conversations the day before the game just to give them information. That conversation, Coach Nagy and I have a great conversation on the sidelines. So there might be times where we go through it beforehand and say, hey, what do you think? And there's times where you got to get the ball out quick and whatnot. But in those situations, like Matt and I have a great relationship on the sideline with conversations and everything. I think, in that situation with Brian, it was just a miscommunication of words because that's not what I was trying to bring across in that conversation.
Key?
The interesting thing for me is I hate to go against a colleague in Brian Griese, but Nick Foles is 100% correct. And I don't need to hear Brian Griese or Nick Foles, for that matter, try to explain to us exactly what the conversation was. The words were probably to a degree, hey, I wish I had a little bit more time, or Brian probably, put it in his own words. And that's what they do. When you can go around the league and you can go to every single team, both in the run game as well as in the pass game, and there are plays that are on that call sheet that coaches are kind of fascinated with, fixated with. They just kind of want to, call it and feel good about it, even though it may not necessarily be the best play at that particular time or throughout the game. They continue to keep doing it because one thing is right. they're not in the cockpit. So they're not sitting back there, dropping back to be able to tell what the rush looks like. They got to get a feel from the sidelines, or they may not understand right then and there that the protection has broken down and there's no answer for Aaron Donald, even though they may think that there is. When you're calling a game and the flow of the game as an offensive coordinator, and we could also have a conversation with Todd Haley, former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, who's going to be joining us later, about this, is that there's plays in your call sheet that you just stick with, even though the guy may be getting, beat down. They just will call them because eventually it comes around as a positive in the run game as well, where we all sit at home and we say to ourselves, Jay, why is he calling that play? I don't, it's 2 yards. They're not getting anywhere. It's like eventually it's going to pop. And sometimes that happens like that. So, you got to think that Matt Nagy, along with Nick Foles, kind of know exactly what it is that they want to do from an offensive standpoint and feel good about it.
Well, they kept Chicago to 49 yards on the ground. So, and he got sacked. Nick Foles got sacked 4 times. Let's just.
Well, you're going to get sacked 4 times with Aaron Donald in that front.
Agreed. So let's just call this what it is, Key. The Bears are who I thought they were, right? Like, did this look like a team that can outrace the Green Bay Packers to the NFC North title? No. Does this truly look like an operation with enough offensive potency to hold on to a wild card into January?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Look, their O-line is decimated. Louis Riddick said it during the Monday Night Football broadcast. He said, look, you can't make players bigger, faster, and stronger, and when the defense can't get you points, you're going to be in trouble. And I said it before, this 3-game skit they have coming up at Rams, they play the Saints next, and then the Titans. We're going to find out everything we need to know about this team. Defensively, they are good, but offensively, they are inept.
Here's what I would say about Chicago. They played a Ram team that's a good Ram. The Rams are good. They're a good football team. But the Rams laid an egg up in San Francisco a week ago. So you wasn't sure what that was. They went 2-3 weeks ago and got beat in Buffalo after playing the Giants and then going back to L.A. and coming all the way back there. The Chicago Bears, next week will be November.
Mm-hmm. Week 8.
The weather will start to change. They'll be at home. In Chicago, when you play outdoors, this formula for them, which is try to run the football, limit your mistakes, which Nick Foles had 2 interceptions last night, so that hurt him, and play defense in that weather is portable. So I'm not ready to say that they're not a legitimate team.
So they have to win ugly.
That's who they are. If you go all the way back to 1985 and you go to Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears, the style, not ugly, but just the style, defense, hard nose, run the ball with sweetness, and McMahon could throw a few checkdowns here and there. Or you fast forward to Rex Grossman and Lovie Smith. Rex Grossman, man.
I'm with you.
That was the defense that did that, and they ran the ball solid. Mm-hmm. That's what you're looking at.
So how good are the Rams at 5-2? Our Dr. Pepper call-in line